everybody, and welcome to DANCHAT episode number 2. Ah, yeah, baby. You know, it's DANCHAT time. It's DANCHAT time. Hell yeah, guys. Oh man, oh man. Woo! That's right, guys. Yeah, DANCHAT. That's what we love to see. I'm just gonna lower my volume a little bit. Perfect. Okay, right. You can't stay for long today, that's completely fine. If you could drop a retweet on saying that we're live, that would be amazing though. Even if you can't stay long. But today, what we're looking at. So, today, ooh, you have a suggestion for DANCHAT? DM it to me at some point. But today, first of all, we have a new stream overlay. How sick does it look? I'd like to say thank you to the amazing Zafiel at Flip Jump Kick for making my new stream overlay. It's absolutely insane. We love it. Amazing artist and amazing graphic designer. So yeah, thank you to Zafiel for making my new stream overlay. But with that said, let's get into a DANCHAT. Yeah, it doesn't fit the DANCHAT vibes right now, but I'm just showing you guys today that this is what's going on. Yeah. General streaming overlay, it's sick, but I just wanted to show you this today and show you that this is what it is. Yeah, new overlay. So I will do cars, yeah. But today we're going to be talking about the online TCG era. So we're going to be talking about stuff that's happening right now in terms of Shadowverse, Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra, and the online CCG community. We're going to be talking about remote duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! And how they're coming along. We're going to be talking about a couple of competitive arena fighters. We're going to be talking about this comment that I received last time. And if you want your comment reviewed on a DANCHAT, be sure to send me them via my Twitter, which you can now find up there at Jacobian Pereira. So yeah, we're going to be talking about this comment that I received that last time. We're going to be talking about Pirate and Mithra in Smash. We're going to be talking about Arxis potentially adding some rollback to their older games. We're going to be talking about 2D Tekken characters, and we're going to be talking about balance and fighting games, or, you know, post-mortem kind of thing. So, shall we start off with the online TCG era? So, let's get this up so we can just show you what we're talking about. So, the online TCG era includes Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra, Shadowverse, those kind of things. And anyone else has streamed freezing a lot? Let me check for you. It looks like it's probably on your end there, Brother Max, because my stream is saying I've dropped absolutely 0 frames, so could just be you. But anyway. So, talking about online CCGs and competitive CCGs, I feel like this is the point in time where CCGs should have absolutely come to prominence. And I don't think they've come as far as I've wanted them to. To be perfectly honest with you, chat. I don't think they've come as far as I've wanted them to within this COVID time. So, what I was thinking going into COVID, I was just thinking, oh my god, it's completely time for all these amazing CCGs to come through, Shadowverse, Hearthstone, Legends of Runeterra, to drop their competitive scene and be like really, really pushing it and like sending it as far forward as they can, because genuinely, in terms of this, because in terms of things, online like esports at this point is not the best. If you have a look at stuff like, I don't know, Valorant, or even fighting games or CSGO online, you know, in this online time it's really difficult for these guys to run their esports, because there's a lot of emphasis put on reactions and flames and things like that, and over the internet it's really difficult to get those reaction times that you would really love to. Hi Chucky. And it's really difficult over the internet. It's really difficult over the internet to find a point where you have great connection with another person online. And so, for example, let's take Tekken tournaments. A few weeks ago, I was playing in Tekken 7 UFG, and I literally had to ask the other person for a lag test, and it eventually ended in a coin flip. Because the connection was just that bad between us. And I was just thinking, oh, yo, this is the perfect time for CCGs to blow up as esports, because they don't rely on connections or anything like that. You can just take your turn-based game and move it back and forth. So I really, really wanted them to push it. And Alex is saying, as much as CCGs could have blown up, a lot of people don't have the money nowadays to drop on CCGs to be remotely viable. Hearthstone joke. Yeah, but there are also, it's not specifically even Hearthstone, there are games like Legends of Runeterra that you don't actually need to drop that much money on, because there aren't even that many cards available right now for Legends of Runeterra. So, for example, I thought Legends of Runeterra would absolutely blow up. But as far as I've seen, sure, they've done the online kind of World Cup right now, but it's just hasn't had the impact that I thought it would have, and I'm not sure why it hasn't been pushed further than it has. It's really interesting, because I thought this would be pushed super far, and it just hasn't. I genuinely thought this would be the point in time where CCGs would blow up, because I would love to watch some more competitive Shadowverse, for example. I loved watching it even before COVID, and they haven't pushed it as much as I thought they would have, because, at this point, they still have this relatively average-sized community. They have this really average-sized community, and they just haven't been pushing it. They've just kind of stuck within their community, and it hasn't gone as far as I thought it would. I'm not sure if that's down to maybe the developer, or maybe the community not tweeting it out as much, because I genuinely haven't seen that many people in the respective CCG communities tweeting out, oh, if you're struggling with lag in these online times, why don't you play an online game where you don't need to think about lag? And that could be, Shadowverse or Legends of Runeterra or whatever. And I just haven't seen them being pushed. And it's really upsetting to me, because as someone who really enjoys card games, it's just upsetting, because I would love to see these card games in the spotlight, and now would be the perfect time for that. Literally the perfect time, and it just hasn't happened. Let's have a look at some comments. Part of the reason virtual board games have taken off is their cost. Stuff like Among Us and Jackbox and stuff like that doesn't require a large investment from each player. Exactly, that's really good. But also, stuff like Legends of Runeterra, it doesn't have that much of an investment in it. You can earn pretty much all of the cards by grinding and stuff like that. My issue with Hearthstone, Runeterra, and Shadowverse is they all appear to be the same game and they're all derivative of Magic. Well, yes, there's definitely some Magic concepts in there in terms of utilizing mana and stuff like that. But there's some real specific things, especially in stuff like Runeterra, with how your actions work and like switching between actions on your opponent's turn. It's really cool. I really love it. And so they do have some things that relate to Magic, yes, definitely, but a lot of them, I think, have these really kind of own spins on them that all make them worth playing in their own respective right, without Magic in there. But you said, I don't think you can discuss all this without mentioning the elephant in the room, which is chess, of course. And obviously chess has blown up on Twitch and just casually recently. I even recently did a chess stream, so it's pretty exciting. I like the fact that chess has blown up, and you know, a lot more players are getting into that kind of older game, because that just means, you know, that there's going to be a next generation of chess players moving forward, and more interest in it moving forward. But that's also what I kind of wish happened to the card game community. The thing is with chess is that they had a couple of big streamers pushing it forward, whereas that was, you know, Ludwig being coached by Hikaru or anything like that, you know, and then you have the PogChamps tournaments occurring. It hasn't happened to TCGs. Or CCGs, sorry. What CCGs should have done is put on more tournaments than they ever have before during this time. And they just haven't done it. And the thing is, a lot of these CCGs don't have massive streamers behind them. Maybe Hearthstone. Maybe Hearthstone has a few big streamers behind it. But not so much that people would want to get invested in that, you know, competitive side of watching it. And especially not Runeterra or Shadowverse. They don't have really big streamers backing it and pushing it forward. And I just really wish the card game community would come together and make a massive push for these during these times, and it just hasn't happened. Romex, it's free, anyone can play, it's massive to stream, entertaining to watch, and you don't need good internet. All the points you've been saying card games need to push. Exactly, Romex. You know, I think Legends of Runeterra is really exciting, really entertaining to watch. Legends of Runeterra completely free to play. Yes, you need to do some grinding to get all the cards, but it's not too bad. It's kind of minimal grinding, to be honest. For anyone that's ever played a CCG before, it's kind of minimal grinding. Anyone can play, like you said, you can literally play Shadowverse and Legends of Runeterra on your phone. It would be massive to stream if it had streamers behind it, and you know, it is entertaining to watch if you have like amazing commentators and great players that people know, but people don't know these great players yet, apart from within the community, so they need to be pushed out. They need to either be signed by teams or something like that. I think what CCG should have done is integrated bigger prize pools at this point, bigger prize pools for online play. And then what they should have done is, because there's now bigger prize pools, teams would be looking to sponsor players for Hearthstone and Shadowverse and so on. And then once those players are sponsored, you know, teams like, I don't know, TSM or Liquid then post, oh hey, our player's playing in the Legends of Runeterra finals today, and it gets massive push off of that. Like, Hikaru signed to TSM. Like, that's the sort of stuff that we needed in the CCG community. We needed a massive prize pool to push forward, couple of massive tournaments, and then teams would come in, try and sponsor players, bang, bang, bang. And then we have these massive streamers off of that and push it forward. Problem is with Hearthstone is that to a lot of the community, Bliss's name is still super tainted to a lot of people, so Hearthstone has a steep hill to climb. Yeah, of course, Runeterra is super strong, it is, and it's gaining popularity, but not at the rate it should be in, with the opportunity it has right now. It has, a massive opportunity, and it just hasn't found that spot yet. It just hasn't found that spot. But, yeah, that's my point on CCGs for now. I just really, really, really want them to blow up and do well, 2020 was really the year of the virtual tabletop. Argue it all you want, but Among Us is a board game as far as I'm concerned. Fair enough. I mean, I can't argue with it. I actually can't argue with it. So next up, let's talk about remote duels in Yu-Gi-Oh! So, let's put this on. So, if you don't know about remote duels are Yu-Gi-Oh's Yu-Gi-Oh's version of playing online. Because Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have an official simulator that Konami has made, they're choosing to do online duels with a camera on top of the playfield, and to play like that. So as you can see, using this stream, you can see you have the mat, all the cards laid out, and you have the camera on top. Unfortunately, I don't think for a lot of competitors, this is going to be kind of viable or fair. We have already seen about 3 or 4 cheating allegations in terms of remote duels, and you can tell it's really, really easy to cheat just by looking at the overlay right now. We've already had 3 or 4 cheaters be outed for cheating in remote duels, and one of them pretty prominent. So it's really scary, and it's kind of weird because if you're going to a YCS, you're expecting, so many participants, so many participants. You can go see your friends and play with your friends, and it's great. You just get to meet all of these new people. With remote duels, they've only ever done invitationals, and that's because you can't do a massive YCS like this online via remote duels. It's just not possible. You can't. You just can't do it. I think maybe first of all, some people, don't have kind of the equipment to do it. Like, even, I think some people might not even be able to do it. Sure, people will say, oh, it's just a camera of your mat and cards. Bro, like, if you have the money for a good computer, a good mic, a good camera, so people can see your cards, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards, share some of that money with me, bro. I need some of that cash. Like, Now, you've been popping off in the chat right now, so let's see. I feel like Konami should just put the effort in to make an online simulator at this point. Their version of the online simulator is Duel Links, unfortunately. And you'll see when we go back offline that we've been running almost 4 tournaments at YCS's. TCG, OCG format, Speed Duel format, and Duel Links. So there are 4 tournaments pretty much going on at YCS's. And the thing is, if they're going to do that, then push your Duel Links. That's the thing. If you're going to do this sort of thing, then what you need to do is push Duel Links right now. Because there's not that many people playing Duel Links. And the thing is, it's an okay game. It's not too bad. And what they've done is they've still got Kyber Cup going on in Duel Links, and that's still running, but they haven't run an official tournament for Duel Links in an online era. Like, it seems so simple. It's an online era, your Duel Links is online and doesn't have that many participants when it comes to physical offline YCSs. Push Duel Links. With this, not that many people are going to be able to participate because A, they're all invitationals, B, some people won't have the money for the equipment needed to play in remote duels, and C, Konami just doesn't have the manpower to run a YCS online like this. This is the point where they need to push Duel Links, and they just haven't done it. Let's see some of your comments while we're doing this. Why don't Yu-Gi-Oh just move online? They should. An official one would go a long way for them. Yes, I agree with that completely. It should. They think that it would steal customers away from the real card game. But there's no substitute for holding the cards. Yes, you're completely right, RMX. I agree with that. But an official online Konami simulator with online play and access to every card practice could do a lot for them. I really, really, really agree. Like, completely agree. That should be what they do. Luckily, we do have an alternative. And although the tournaments won't be Konami sponsored, we have an alternative. And that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega. Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega released during COVID, just sometime around last year, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro is still a thing, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega is the new big simulator. And it is absolutely perfect. Genuinely, there are so few things wrong with it. All the community need to do is start pushing tournaments forward. Keep pushing tournaments for it. Push tournaments forward with prize pools. We absolutely need to do it, because then that takes away from people watching remote duels. And when people stop watching remote duels, Konami are going to be like, nobody's watching remote duels. What are they watching instead? They're watching this Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega thing. Online simulator. And then they might get behind it. We absolutely need to push Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega tournaments. Absolutely need to push Yu-Gi-Oh! Omega tournaments. And it was made by fans. It was made by people for a love of the game and a good online simulator. They'll just shut down Omega instead, and you know it. Of course, yeah. Like, they will. But the thing is, we still need to push it. It doesn't, like, there's no way. The thing is, right, we still absolutely need to push it. Because, like, this is the thing. There's probably no way that we're going to get Konami to make an official, you know, online simulator, right? There's like such, you know, a minimal chance that Konami will make an online simulator. But we need to do everything in our power to push them to try and make it. We need to show that there's a want for an online simulator, that people will play it if there's an online simulator, that people will pay for it if there's an online simulator. We need to push it in any way we can. We need to try and, I don't know, not force Konami, but almost make it so big that Konami can't be forced to ignore the fact that people want it anymore. I know they've been doing really good for like ignoring that with Dueling Birkins and Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro and stuff like that for decades now, but we just need to show them that we want them, we need them, especially in the online era when we can't run tournaments, big tournaments in remote duels like this. If you have an online simulator, you could run maybe a 128 cap tournament. You could get community TOs, run it on like Smash GG or Challenge or something, and run a huge tournament with a good prize, you know. All the effort fans have been putting into trying to create simulators for the community to do this sort of thing, if Konami did it, they would get so much good rep. So much good rep. Bromax, what I really don't get is that they already have the software. The games they've been putting on consoles does the job fine. They're not perfect, but they're better than nothing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, genuinely, some of the games that they have on consoles and have had on consoles in the past, they've been pretty good. Like, they've been pretty good simulators for dueling. But they only have AI and we don't have online. And it's just upsetting because if online mode was integrated, we'd use it. Absolutely. And I wouldn't mind having to pay like a £5 subscription fee every month in order to use an official Konami simulator. You know, I genuinely wouldn't mind that. As long as Konami sponsor the tournaments and, you know, we get to run community tournaments for it with community TOs, amazing community casters, and, you know, just absolutely run the community, because the community will get bigger if Yu-Gi-Oh! Give us the resources to do it. You'd go up to 10 if you were still playing. Exactly, like, people would be completely willing to do it, and, so yeah, that's completely something to talk about. So, yeah, remote duels, they're occurring, they're happening, but we want something different, and they're not viable for everyone, and that's the really unfortunate thing. So, that's the end of that section for me. Next up, let's talk about some competitive arena fighters. I've wanted to talk about this subject for a little bit now, mainly because it's not talked about that much. And let's have a look at, for example, My Hero 1's Justice 2. So, you know, competitive arena fighters. A lot of people in the FGC look at competitive arena fighters, or just look at arena fighters in general, and, you know, they're kind of like, this doesn't follow the rules of a fighting game. You know, is press one button auto combo. Oh geez, there's big lag here. Let's skip past that. Not necessarily dismissive, but like, I would say a lot of people don't grant them, you know, the tournament viability. So, like, the only thing I can think of is, like, the only arena fighter that I can think of that's kind of been at EVO has, you know, is like Ninja Storm, you know? That's the only thing I can think that's been at EVO, is like Naruto Ninja Storm. I'm not sure if Xenoverse has been at EVO. I don't think it has as a side bracket, but I know Ninja Storm has been at EVO. The biggest issue with arena fighters is that for proper balance, you need 2 setups. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the thing is, in this kind of online era, I've seen a couple of arena fighters start popping off a little bit. One of them being My Hero 1's Justice 2, which is this game on the screen right now. The community have been really pushing tournaments for it. And, you know, it's looking really, really good. You know, their game has a lot of tech. There's a lot of options to think about. And they're doing it completely online as well. And a lot of their tournaments have been doing really well. Even with, like, quite a few, you know, with not that many DQs. So, I'm just thinking, why don't we have, you know, more arena fighters that are kind of, like, accepted competitively in the FGC? Because I genuinely think My Hero 1's Justice should be one of them. I feel like My Hero 1's Justice could definitely be a game at, like, Frosty Faustings or you know, Evo or something like that. Genuinely. It's exciting to watch. It's exciting to play. You know. And, you know, it's just a gorgeous game all around. It's got a lot of facets of arena fighters. You know, it's got a lot of facets, sorry. This arena fighter has a lot of facets of, you know, traditional fighters. A lot of people, you know, think about these games and they're kind of like, oh yeah, don't really mind, it's not really a fighting game. But genuinely, I feel like this, you know, something like this could be big. Or even like something like Kill la Kill IF. I absolutely love Kill la Kill IF. Their online community has been popping off for real. And their tournaments are sick. You know? Let me move forward. There we go. Not ads, please. So actually, let me search up Kill la Kill IF. Like, they've been popping. Yeah, you're right, Alex. Top 4 at Evo 2019. They did Kill la Kill 19. At Evo 2019, and it was at CEO Taku, like you're saying. So I think this is an absolutely amazing game. It's really pretty. It's got some facets of traditional fighting games, and you know, I think it's really cool. You know, I would absolutely love arena fighters to be represented more in the FGC, because there's some really, really good arena fighters out there. That's it. That's what I think. I think they should genuinely be introduced into the FGC and like be more well known and have more people playing them. I think it would be amazing. A lot of people are saying so Remax, you said in the past they haven't been the most well-balanced games. Yeah, that's true. You know, in the past they haven't been the most well-balanced games. But, you know, you also have games where, like Melee, for example, where you only have a few characters that are viable at the real top level of play. Right? You have your top tiers, and then almost nobody plays Dr. Mario, right? Because he's the worst character in the game. Every single game has a tier list. And every single game has top tiers and bottom tiers. You know? And people can overcome those kind of things. Look at Axe winning with Pikachu. You know? In the Melee scene. People thought Pikachu was mid-tier before that. So definitely, I don't think balance is the most massive issue, because a lot of regular 2D fighting games that have the same problem, you know? I'd love Square Enix to tackle this with the next Dissidia. Yes, I would absolutely adore Dissidia to be big. Like, actually adore it. I would get into competitive Dissidia straight away if Square Enix did something with it. I think from the outside they're viewed as spam fests. I mean, it can be viewed that way, but look at, for example, Tekken or something, or even DBFZ. Isn't a lot of DBFZ super dash in, auto combo, opponent blocks auto combo? Like, you know? Look how many block strings you have to have in DBFZ. I would say it's almost similar to the amount you have in anime fighters. You have to block for so long. In like these you know, arena fighters, right? It's almost the same amount of time that you have to be blocking. People play Multi-Blood, which has like 4 god characters that are far and above better than the rest of the cast, but people still play mostly the rest of the cast, and a lot of people play Melty. That's completely right, Alex. Yeah, exactly. And people have been able to overcome, you know, those top 4 characters. And win tournaments with some of those mid-tier and lower-tier characters. You're really not selling me on DBZ. I'm not here to sell you on DBZ. I'm not here to sell you on it. I'm here to sell you on trying to make arena fighters maybe a little bit more prominent in the FGC, because I feel like it would be really cool. But yeah, I think that would be it for this part of DanChat, or this section of DanChat. So next up, we had a comment from last time. So last time I got a comment after the stream saying, also 1250 Death, your stream was baller, which is thank you so much. As a topic, I'd like to see you discuss what you think makes a fighting game accessible, and what you personally like to see in that regard going forward, specifically in 2D fighters, as you've got the perspective of someone who is learning them after suffering in Tekken, a 3D fighter, for so long. So, let's talk about that. And I'm going to put on these in the back. My man, you need to escape Tekken. So, as someone who's been trying to get into 2D fighting games over, you know, like over kind of this COVID time, as someone who's not really like played them that much before, I feel like what I've been helped with most in terms of trying to learn 2D fighters is a really good training mode like Uniclair, a really diverse and really expansive tutorial and combo trials like Uniclair. And this is why I put Uniclair on as an example. I absolutely love playing through Uniclair's tutorial. It gave me like almost too much information, but that was so good because it taught me everything I needed to know about the game. And then the combo trials in Uniclair are also done in such a way that they go from easy to more difficult. So I can start learning a character, see if I like their starting combos, and if I don't, then I can go to someone else and try their starting combos and see how they play and pick them up like that. and then the combos get progressively harder, and that really helps me a lot. And there's also stuff like BB Tags training mode, where it teaches you about certain situations and what to do in certain situations. And that is absolutely amazing. Like, being able to do, you know, oh, how do I get out the corner here? You know, what is this specific move used for? What is this used for? Like those kind of character profiles that BB Tag has. You know, I absolutely love those. They helped me a lot, and I would love to see more 2D fighting games in the future integrate that sort of thing. You know, like, this is this character's game plan, this is what it does, and here are, you know, some basic combos going down to more difficult combos if you really enjoy the character, and here's what you can do in every single situation, and here's what you can do in certain situations, and they're really expansive, you know, tutorial. I would absolutely love to see it. So those are some of the things that I've really liked. One of the other things I really liked, for example, in BB Tag, is it helped me learn in my own way. So, for example, I like learning combos by, like, sound, or like beats, I guess, or learning the timing of combos with like beats and stuff. So like when I'm learning a combo, I go dun 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 dun, or something like that, to help me remember the timing as I press the buttons. So once I learn the timing for the first time, I make up a little tune to the time I press the buttons at. And, you know, like, BB Tag actually helped me with that kind of thing, because it has an option where I can turn on a sound every time I hit a button. So it actively, you know, it actively helps me learn in the way I learn best, which is amazing, and I wish more games would do that. Alex, it's what I like about BlazBlue Central Fiction as well. They have the same kind of similar tiered difficulty trials and character showcase type beats. Yeah, I really, you know, I really want more 2D fighters to do that in the future, because it would help me get into them a lot more, I think. That's just personally, like I said, it was a comment I got from last time, and I would, you know, absolutely love to, like, as someone new to 2D fighters, I would absolutely love to see some more, like, kind of options in terms of that. So, yeah. Do I have really anything else to say on that part? I don't think so. I think, you know, apart from that, you know, wikis have been really helpful. You know, wikis for new players and stuff like that. I've absolutely loved reading through the BB Tag wiki and learning game plans for certain characters. So, I would love the wikis to be really expansive. And yeah, I would just like maybe some more sense of, like, a newbie community as well. Because going into BB Tag, right, I learned a lot of combos, I found a team that I really enjoyed playing, and I learned combos for that team. And the only thing I can really do is go online and get stomped as a new player, because I'm playing against people who have been playing this game for ages and have much more, you know, experience in 2D fighters than me. So I would love to see, like, and obviously if a new game does come out, there's probably going to be a lot more of a newbie community to it. But I would absolutely love to have, like, maybe a learners Discord or something like that, where you have these lower tiered players in like lower ranks do a tournament and learn how to play competitively from there. One of the things I would reference is, I know I'm going to be referencing Tekken in a 2D fighting section, but East London Fighters are running a tournament called Level Up. In about a month's time, I'm going to be playing in it. And what they do is they take your online rank and they put you in a group. And you're paired up in that group with other people of your rank. Of your online rank. And so, if you win that online tournament, then you move up to playing people who are maybe above your skill level, but only just by a little bit. And, you know, that's the thing. Please link it to me after the stream. I will do Jensen. But, yeah. I would love more things like that for 2D fighters, because I think it would help me, like, try and get into better play more. Like, it would kind of ease me in. I play against people on my skill level, so new players, and then a couple of better players, and then a couple of better players after that. So yeah, I would really love that. And the thing is, with that as well, a lot of people who are good at fighting games absolutely hate grinding through the low levels, because people at the lower levels do, you know, really, really dumb stuff a lot of the time that the top level players can't really read or don't really expect. And a lot of people really hate that grind throughout the lower levels. And it's something I hate too. So I think those sorts of tournaments are really good, because even if I'm a low level player, if I win in like rank up or level up, then I know I'm better than what my rank is telling me, and I'm just kind of losing to these, you know, low level players, when in fact I have, you know, more promise than that, I guess. If the game had better netcode, there'd definitely be more new players than you could access easier. But BB Tag rollback, BBCF rollback, etc. Okay. Tekken Blue ranks in a nutshell, exactly. So, now let's talk about Pyra and Mythra in Smash. So, Pyra and Mythra happened. What do I think of it? People have been asking me this a little bit on Twitter. What do I think about Pyra and Mythra in Smash? And, stuff like that. Because that's a topic that's never been discussed. They're all everyone on Twitter. Next topic. In my opinion, I absolutely love Pyra and Mythra. I haven't played Xenoblade myself, but I've watched playthroughs of Xenoblade, and just through watching playthroughs, I think I would really enjoy it if I played the game personally. So I know, like, everything in the story, but, yeah. I absolutely love these characters. I love their introduction into the game. I know a lot of people are thinking, oh, just another anime sword fighter, kind of thing. But absolutely, you know, I think it's an amazing concept for a character. Kind of like, oh, Jesus. Why would you ever do that to me? Why would you ever do that to me? Fucking dog ad, dude. Dog ad. Why? Go away, dog ad. Right. Now I'll bring back the other stream slide. There we go. Boop. Right. Anime sort of fighter is the phrase that makes me stop listening to whatever you have to say. Exactly, yeah. I think they're super cool, and they kind of remind me of old school Zelda chic, where you have the kind of fast one and then you have the high damage one. A lot of people are saying, you know, oh, these characters are definitely top tier. I would kind of agree with that. I would like to give it a little bit more time before I kind of make a solid decision of where they're going to be in my tier list. But I feel like their characters have been integrated beautifully. They've been added with a lot of personality. And their moves just suit them really nicely. And I really love them. I think they're super, super cool. Sephiroth, the thing is, right, Sephiroth, when Sephiroth got revealed to Smash, I had a little cry when I saw the stage, because they represented Final Fantasy VII so well. And Final Fantasy VII is one of my favourite games of just all time, if you don't know. And they did it so well for Sephiroth in Smash. That stage, you know, I genuinely got emotional. And to see... Oh, is that an ad on my fucking lo-fi hip-hop? Of course it is. Of course it's an ad on the lo-fi hip-hop. Yeah, I knew it was going to be an ad on the lo-fi hip-hop. Jesus, dude. Why did this happen? Fucking need to get YouTube Premium for DANCHAT. There we go. But, yeah, I absolutely love Pyra and Mythra. I think I especially like Pyra. No, sorry. I especially like Mythra because that move that you just saw right there, that, like, kind of little cross-slash move, I absolutely love the animation on that move. I think it's so cool. They did the animations amazingly. The character was portrayed awesome. Yeah, I'm really happy. I get the Fire Emblem annoyance, but still. I absolutely love the amount of Fire Emblem that's been actually represented in Smash. Mainly because I'm a big Fire Emblem fan, first of all. But second of all, that although people say, you know, they play really similarly, there's a lot of differences, I feel like, between the Fire Emblem characters. Like, how can you say, like, Robin and Marth are similar? You can't. Like... And then people say, oh, it's not about the characters being the same, it's about the amount of Fire Emblem that's in Smash. Well, look at Mario. Mario has more characters than Fire Emblem in Smash. I think Mario has like 9 characters. The Mario franchise has 9 characters in Smash. And then Fire Emblem has 7? Something like that. So, like, I understand, like, Mario is like the Nintendo mainstay, but like, you have 9 characters for that franchise and nobody's complaining about that. So why are people complaining about 7 Fire Emblem characters? You know, who was the last Mario character added? I actually have no idea. It's probably Piranha Plant. Yeah, not counting Plant. I just saw that just now. There you go. I actually have no idea. Yeah, I guess Daisy? Daisy was integrated in this one? If you count, you know, like, if you count clones. Fucking Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship. After the stream, you're installing adblock on my laptop? Okay. Okay. I can raid Shadow Legends stream, dude. But, yeah. Pyra and Mithra, I think, are super awesome. I'm really happy they're in the game. I feel like they're, you know, there should be a lot, you know, more Xenoblade representation, and I think that it was a much better choice to put in Pyra and Mithra than it would have been to do Rex. I'm really happy they chose Pyra and Mithra instead of Rex. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. I'm really happy. Yeah. I'm just really happy that these characters are in the game now. I'm excited to see what they do in competitive play. So, next up, Arxis rollback. Let's talk about it, huh? So, Arxis have been talking about possibly, integrating rollback into some of their older games. Yo, please, you should have seen me when I heard that was a thing. Bro, I was popping off. Dan, when are you putting rollback in BlazBlue Central Fiction? It's not down to me, Alex. It's not down to me. But this is what I wanted to talk about. Panda saying plus R is resurging so hard. Exactly. If Arxis, you saw what happened with plus R. You saw what happened with plus R. They added rollback plus R. Plus R fucking popped. You know? If they add that to another game, another older game, it's gonna pop. Whether it's BB Tag or BBCF, anything, it's gonna pop. I'm so excited. You know? I'm so excited for them to add rollback to Arxis, some older Arxis games. And personally, for me, I would love if they added it to BB Tag, but that's obviously a biased opinion because I'm learning BB Tag, and I want some new players to try and play against. But also, BB Tag is probably, you know, BB Tag is probably one of the bigger ones already. And if BB Tag gets rollback, it's going to bring a lot of the old community that it had back. And I feel like we'd be seeing like BB Tag at big tournaments like Frosty Faustings and Animivo and CEO Taku, stuff like that again. So yeah, for sure. So I'd be really excited to have rollback in BB Tag especially, but I wouldn't mind if it was in something else. As an outsider, Arc System Works stuff feels so overwhelming and daunting. I think Alex just replied to that. It's overwhelming to look at Arxis games at the top level, but when you realize that, you don't need to learn half the mechanics to just play and have fun. Doing whatever you can, then you can just pick up and have fun with a lot of them. Exactly, yeah. Take a look at Strive. Like, I feel like Strive, even though it's a Guilty Gear, right? a lot of new people came into it and had a ton of fun. A lot of people came into the new Guilty Gear and they had a ton of fun. I know people that were completely new to the Guilty Gear franchise decided to pick it up, and they had a lot of fun just running around and pressing buttons with their mates. So yeah. Let's have a look at some comments. Multiblood as a community has just been going on because of a rollback based caster. Yeah, rollback rollback is big. And Multiblood wins again. What can I say? Multiblood best fighting game. Access games give you a lot of creative freedom. Yeah, I agree with that. Hello Mark, Multi is the GOAT, I agree. I loved how broken everyone was. P4AU, I would absolutely adore P4AU. Give me P4AU. Hell yeah, do it. So, I think with that, we'll move on to this. I saw this thing from a top player in Tekken called Super Akuma. A French player. Absolutely amazing player. And he set out a tweet that was a quote tweet replying to this. So TBS Arya said, on a recent stream, many viewers thought that Akuma in Tekken 7 is broken. To me, broken means there's no counterplay. A broken character should be utterly dominating the competitive scene, yet I've barely seen any Akumas in tournament recently, much less winning them. I disagree with the last statement. There are a lot of Akumas in tournaments, especially when we were offline there were a ton of Akumas in tournaments. And they were winning tournaments, so I disagree with the last part of that statement. For sure. But I don't think Akuma is broken. I don't think he's broken. I feel like Akuma, he's kind of strange in a way. But let's have a look at I'll get onto my opinion in a second, but let's have a look at Super Akuma's reply. The replies are so bad. He breaks the rules of the game. Defining your own rules of Tekken is bullshit. So many 3D characters do unique rule-breaking things. Ling, under lows, Fakam Ram guard break, Brian taunt, Yoshi flash. Taste is subjective, you're just like Akuma, that's okay. Just dislike Akuma, that's okay. Okay. He doesn't break the rules of the game. But he definitely changes the kind of spirit of Tekken 7. I think just by the fact that Akuma's in the game has been a lot more 2D. A lot of shit is tracking. And the thing is with Akuma, because he's a 2D character, he's a 2D character in a 3D fighting game. And it's kind of weird because if you're playing a 3D fighting game, you're playing a 3D fighting game for sidestepping pretty much. That's what you want to do. You're playing a 3D fighting game so you can sidestep. And Akuma kind of, I'm not saying, you know, he changes that, but it changes the spirit of the game a little bit. Because sidestepping is already awful anyway in Tekken 7 without Akuma. And with Akuma, especially if you're playing against him, it does feel like you're playing a 2D game. And the thing is, right, Like I said on DANCHAT number 1, if you remember that far back, one of my wishes for Tekken 8 was that sidestepping needs to be strong again. Because it just isn't. And because, you know, you play a 3D fighting game for sidesteps. So sidesteps should be a strong, viable option. But they're just not in Tekken 7. Continuity, yeah. So, yeah. I feel like he doesn't do anything broken. He isn't broken, you know. A lot of characters in Tekken 7 deal a lot of damage, like Akuma, you know. There's a lot of certain things, but just by the virtue of Akuma being in the game, there's another thing now. There's now meter involved in the game. And one of the things I loved about Tekken 7 was that I didn't have to think about meter in any way, shape, or form. Now I do, because now there's Akuma, there's Geese, there's Eliza. Right? One of the things I play Tekken for is that there's no meter. But now I have to think about that when I'm playing against these characters. So, sure, I agree, he isn't broken, but he's destroyed, well, he's not destroyed, he's changed the spirit of Tekken in a way, for sure. He's definitely changed the spirit of the game in some kind of way. And he's definitely changed the direction that the game is going towards. Feels like turn taking. Yeah. If the correlation between broken and number of people playing them was true, would be the only character played. New would be the only character played in BBCT. Doesn't mean there's other bacon and plus R, and they really aren't. Exactly. Yeah. So he definitely isn't broken. He's just like I said, he changes the spirit of the game and the way the game is going forward. I just hope he really doesn't get into Tekken 8. I really, really hope he doesn't get into Tekken 8. Oh, Dan, my message got fucked. Oh no. I'd argue Akuma breaks the rules more by virtue of actually having a hit confirm in Tekken. Yeah. Still slightly surprised FS meter didn't take it off in Ultimate. There aren't many things that I've seen in any game that are truly broken. For sure. I've allowed your message there, Brandon. There you go. Moobot caught waifu, and I was just like, oh, okay. There you go, you're fine now. Full strength E-Dragons in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the only thing I can think of. Well, okay. We've done that tweet. Now we're on to another. Balance and fighting games. So, this is a nice little segue, but I saw a big FGC content creator, Max Dude, talk about fighting game balance off of the top of this tweet. I see a lot of crestfallen DBFZ heads. Just want to put this out there, since I think for a lot of you this was either your first fighting game or first you took seriously. Post-support Twilight phase, though unconfirmed, happens for every game in the modern era, not just DBFZ. And this is the thing, right? Like, I wanted to look at this entire thread because it's so good. I think the reason DBFZ heads are crestfallen also is because the game didn't end on a good note when it comes to balancing and tiers of the cast. A lot of characters are still weak when they shouldn't be. Okay, but again, let's have a look at the Multi-Blood example that Alex put in earlier. Multi-Blood doesn't get balance patches, but there's still 4 really top tier characters. I'm gonna duck out, but have fun with the rest, Dan. It's been another really good one. Thank you, Alex. Thank you. See you next time, buddy. But, there are those 4 top tier characters in Melty, and there's no patches for Melty. It doesn't get balanced. But people still find new ways to beat those top 4 characters. And DBFZ can do that too. And then Infill says, chasing balance like this only leads to success. There's no possible update that will satisfy everyone, which is completely true, for sure. And to even think there might be in DBFZ, didn't find it, will make you sad. There is no fighting game that is completely balanced. Like, don't say like Footsies or something, because Footsies isn't really like a competitive fighting game, right, with characters, right? There's nothing like you can't have a game that's completely balanced. And then we go on to Max's tweet, which I really, hit with. I really relate to. Fighting game balance is the white whale of the FGC. Making a balanced game is almost impossible, and current fighting games are 10 times more balanced than the classics, which is true. In actuality, one huge thing that makes the genre great is an underdog winning a possible matchup. Completely true. How many times have you seen online that, how many times have you watched a fighting game tournament and you've been cheering for the person who's not playing the top tier? Quite a few times, I bet. Considering my community, there are a lot of FGC heads, I'm sure a lot of you have watched a tournament and have been cheering for the low tier player. I'm sure a lot of you have. Right? Julia versus the Leroy Nation. Exactly, yeah. A good example is when me and the rest of the SIG boys, Alex and Brandon, Subpanda, we were at a 24-hour LAN and we were watching Evo Japan, and Leroy just came out. Leroy was the best character in the game. There were, I think it was like 6 or 7 players that played Leroy at Evo Japan in top 8. And there was one Julia player. And we were cheering for the Julia player the entire time. And that's part of what makes fighting games great. A lot of people choose to play low tiers because they want a feeling of satisfaction of beating a character that's better than them. Why would you ever want fighting games to be balanced? No, it takes away from the feel of fighting games. Like, I think Eddie being low tier completely adds to his character. It adds to his character. And it's part of the reason I continue playing him. It's part of the reason I love playing Eddie. I get a feeling of satisfaction. You told me Eddie was low tier in Tekken 7. You think that will stop me playing him? Exactly! Character loyalty. I think Brandon put in a comment earlier, fighting games are one of the only genres where character pride comes first and tiers comes second. I agree. I completely agree. I've been playing Galore and Eddie since Tekken 4. And I've been playing those two characters up until today, and I've never switched. Doesn't matter if they're low tier, high tier, doesn't matter. I absolutely love my characters because I relate to them. And if you win a tournament with a character you relate to and feel like, you know, you love, that is one of the happiest moments you'll get in fighting games. Like, one of the most satisfying moments in fighting games. It's amazing. That feeling of satisfaction is just insane. That you won with a character that you love to play. And this has gone a little bit away from balance, but for example, I play Half Moon White Len in Melty Blood, right? Isn't one of the top 4 characters, and I'm definitely not good at the game, but I'm definitely going to be sticking with White Len, because I absolutely love White Len, and I know I'll feel a lot more satisfied if I win a ton with White Len than if I just pick a top tier. And that game isn't getting balanced anymore. Like, Melty Blood, there's no balance patches for that game. But I still choose to play this mid-tier Half Moon White Len because I love it, you know? It's absolutely amazing. And winning with a character you want to win with is great. I hope the DBFZ peeps continue to play the game and continue to play the characters they want to play, because I want to see those underdog stories. I want to see people playing characters they want to play. So yeah, I'm really happy with, you know, I hope people keep, you know, playing DBFZ because it's a great game, and I hope people keep playing the characters they want to play and don't think about the tier list. You know, every game has that point where it's not going to get patched anymore. People still play them. Look at Melty Blood, look at Plusar, look at so many other fighting games. So I hope the DBFZ community keeps going strong, and they probably will. And overall, that's pretty much all I had in store for DanChat today. I know it's a bit of a shorter one than last time, but I really hope you enjoyed this DanChat. If you have any ideas for DanChat, feel free to send them to me via Twitter, which you can find up there now, at Jacobian Pereira. So feel free to send me anything you want me to cover on DanChat episode 3, because it will definitely be in the works. Final Fantasy tier list? Okay, I can work with that. But yeah, I really hope you'll enjoyed this DanChat. Again, feel free to follow me on all social media. At Jacobian Pereira on Twitter, 12 Hack of Your Death on Twitch, which is right here, and then Daniel Jacobian Pereira on YouTube. Again, thank you to the amazing Zafiel for making my stream overlay. Shout outs to them at Flip Jump Kick on Twitter if you want them to make your overlay. And yeah, I think that's about it from me. So I will be seeing you next time on stream. I don't know, potentially could be tomorrow, we'll see. As always, I'll be tweeting out when I go live next. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time, and cheerio!